manhood is not the opposite of womanhood. In fact, manhood can actually be quite similar to womanhood in a lot of ways. It's actually, when it comes down to it, manhood is the opposite of boyhood. And it's when the man decides to put away his boyish, childish behaviors, like 1 Corinthians 13:11 states, right? And when he starts making way for the king to finally come through. And, think about it. What's the difference between boyhood and manhood? Kingship, in other words. Well, when you look at a boy, what is he? He's very selfish, self-centered. A king is quite the opposite. He's focused on others. He's focused on building up his empire. He's focusing on a king is focused on the people, right? A good king, at least, right? Not a tyrant, but a king a true king, a genuine king is there to serve. He's the first one on the front lines when they go out to battle, right? He's ready to, and he's willing to lay down his life for his people, for his tribe, for his kingdom. That's the difference between boyhood and manhood. Now today I'm going to be talking about a few things that a man needs to adopt in order to finally kill that boy and begin to feed the king. And this idea was brought to me by my boy Harry in the War Club. And I know it sounds all cool. I know it's like, yeah, dude, kill the boy, feed the king. Let's go, man. Let's freaking go. But what does it really mean to feed the king? Because, hey, look, for the rest of your life, this is going to be a decision that you constantly have to make every single day. It's not a decision that you make once in your life and then, okay, you're set. Now you're a king for the rest of your life. No. To be a king, to decide that you're going to make king-like decisions, that's a daily decision, bro. And you're not always going to be all slap happy about destroying the childlike thoughts within you, because if we're being real, at least for me, bro, I'm constantly battled. I'm constantly having very childlike thoughts, and I constantly have to starve those thoughts and feed the king, feed the thoughts that are going to honor my family, honor God. On the George Janko show, he said a little while back, there's a wolf in the shadows and a wolf in the light. Which one survives? It's the one you feed. And that's a good question to be asking yourself every single day. Which one am I feeding? Am I feeding the boy in me, the child in me, or am I feeding the king? So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into number one. The first mindset that you need to adopt as a man is the risk of absolute failure. If the risk of absolute failure is not a part of your end goal, your end result that you're trying to achieve, that goal is probably not big enough. Mike Posner said this in an interview the other day. He said, not every crazy idea is good, but every good idea is crazy. Think about this. A seed only comes from fruit, meaning you must bear fruit before a new seed can grow in your life. And what is fruit? Hey, let's take it to God's word. The fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Implement these things into your daily routine, your daily life. Watch the seeds that start to get planted in every area, every pillar of your life as a man. And watch what God can do. Watch how he begins to multiply. But first, he's waiting on you. He's waiting on you to start bearing fruit, to start taking action. You might not have a lot right now, right? You might have just a little. You might have just a little seed. But you know what God can do with that little seed? If you plant it first, if you start planting those seeds of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, and a great mindset, kind of frame of mind to have is don't just focus on what you expect out of life. Focus on what life expects out of you. Too many of us are out here focusing on what can we get from people. No, bro, especially as men of God, what can we give to people? What can people get out of me? That's got to be the mindset. The second one, become a Christian. Now check it out. I know a lot of us here, we label ourselves men of God, right? And you might be, thinking to yourself, well, but Dre, I already am a Christian, right? That's not what I'm talking about here. See, I'm not asking if you're saved. What I'm asking here is, are you really being like Christ. That's what a Christian means, to be like Christ. And see, when Jesus was being brutally tortured and nailed to a cross, he faced 4 major emotions. You know what those emotions were? It was loneliness, disappointment, hurt, and rejection. He was feeling the weight of the world and a loneliness that nobody could relate to, a disappointment from his closest friends abandoning him, Judas betraying him, Peter denying him 3 times, just to name a few. The hurt of both physical and mental pain. Jesus was literally dying for the same people that were chanting, "Crucify him," which leads ultimately to the feeling of rejection. Yet, even in his worst state, his worst emotional and physical state, Jesus never allowed those feelings to dictate and to take him off his path in the will that God had for him. He remained mission focused. And now, taking this knowledge, when you and I are emotionally at our worst, will we still accomplish the will of God? Will we still continue to press through? Will we be able to continue to pursue the King and to dominate our daily tasks? Or are you just too sad or too mad? You know, my pastor was talking about this the other day of how he asked the audience, he's like, do you know people like that who if they weren't sad or mad, you wouldn't even be able to recognize them, right? Because they're just always sad or mad all the time. And it's like, if they weren't sad or mad, they wouldn't even have a personality, because that's like their default settings. And you're so used to them being sad or mad. And the question isn't whether, they're not going to be sad or mad. It's what are they going to be sad about, and who are they going to be mad at? Or maybe that person's you. It's a good question to ask yourself. It's good to ponder on these thoughts sometimes and be real with yourself. Maybe that man is me. Maybe I've been a little too mad lately at people. Maybe I've been a little too sad. So again, I'll ask you, are you acting like a Christian? Are you acting like Christ? Acting like Christ isn't just about, so many people just focus on, being a Christian is just about being nice to people. I mean, yeah, that's one of the fruit of the Spirit. Well, for sure, 100%, that is important. And most of you guys are failing at that too, if I'm being honest. There's some days where I fail pretty miserably at that. But are you still pressing forward when you are afflicted, when you are in pain, when you are facing these 4 emotions like loneliness, disappointment, hurt, and rejection? Are you still pressing forward on your mission? That's what it means to be like Christ, to be a Christian. To be sad and down and out and depressed all the time, bro, that's the opposite of what Christ did. He ain't did that. If you're in a tough season, man, stay planted. Don't move. Stay in your marriage, stay in your word, stay in church, and stay in prayer. God always honors those who press on despite their struggles, which leads me to number 3. Lose your excuses. It's like the whole concept of the 2 sons with the alcoholic father who would come home after work every single day drunk, and anytime they did see their dad, he was usually just mad or screaming, yelling, beating up on his wife. And so as the sons grow up, because of this pattern that was set in home, because of what they saw, one son goes off and he does the same exact stuff. He does the same thing. He follows that same pattern. He grows up to be a lousy father. He grows up to be an alcoholic. He gets into drugs. He gets addicted to all these different types of things like porn and women. And he gets interviewed one day and they ask him, why have you ended up like this? And he says, well, because of the pattern that my father set in the home. How else was I supposed to turn out? And then you look at the other son, and this son, he did the polar opposite. He grew up to be an awesome father. He grew up to be an incredible husband. He serves his community, serves his church. He's built up these great multi-million-dollar businesses, and he's a mensch. He's an incredible man, and he gets interviewed and he gets asked the same question. How did you turn out like this? And he points back at his dad and says, well, with a father like I had, who set such a terrible pattern in the home, how else was I supposed to turn out? Hey, look, bro, God hates excuses. There are literally none that are worthy. And to say, oh, I'm just too sad, I'm just too angry, I'm just too tired, oh, yeah, you are, aw. Ain't no one gonna feel bad for you, bro. Not even God, to be honest with you. It's funny because this relates back to my last one. Are you a Christian? Are you acting like Christ? God loves you, bro. I mean, he understands how you feel. He hurts when you hurt, of course. But is he going to allow you to use that as an excuse? Did he allow Jesus, his own, the Son of Man, to use any excuses? No. Jesus still had to press forward. So what makes you think that God's going to just let you off the hook? And come to think of it, bro, it's like, if you're feeling weak, if you're feeling sad and depressed and all of these emotions and stuff, great. I mean, as men of God, that's what we're supposed to boast in our weaknesses. What are you guys doing, bro? We're supposed to boast in them, not walk around in defeat and think that we're just not good enough or we're not like this guy or that guy. Nah, bro. We don't follow the ways, the ideologies of the red pill that say, oh no, you need to be strong, right? You need to be stoic. No. We don't follow that. We don't boast in our strength. We boast in our weaknesses. We go a whole different route. Being a Christian ain't bubblegum, bro. It's not just rocking a cross necklace, having a few Bible verses tatted on you. It's not just having a Bible verse in your little bio on social media. It's a constant battle between flesh and spirit. It's a constant reliance on God and less on yourself. And now moving on, number 4, roll with the pack. My question to you right now is who's your pride? Who's your tribe of men that you are connected with on a weekly basis? When I think about it, there's so many men out here that kind of boast and kind of consider themselves like a lion, right? Like the king of the jungle out here. But hey, even lions go down when a pack of hyenas continue to nibble on them, right? Lions need to be with their pack. They need to be with their pride. I don't care how tough you are, bro. Exhaustion will always make a man weak, right? A soldier on day 1 isn't the same soldier as he is on day 30. That soldier needs camaraderie. He needs his brothers. And it's wild because I think of it as if I was to tell people, hey, I got this magic pill right here. And what this magic pill does is it will cure you of all your anxiety, your depression, your heart disease, your cancer, diabetes, whatever it is. I would have people that would line up. Yeah, if I told those same people, if I said, hey, all you need to do is just be a part of a community of Christ-driven brothers, they would kind of look at me with like a loony or something, right? And they would just disregard me. But hey, look, it's true, man. Trying to do life on your own it's literally stupid, and it will literally make you dumb. Because when you're all up in your own head all the time, only getting one input, one perspective from yourself, you're always going to lead yourself astray because you're just not that smart. You're not that wise to do life all on your own. And if you think you are, if you think you're smart enough, and you think that you'll just make all the right choices for the rest of your life, that's called ego, bro. And it needs to be dropped. Ain't none of us that good. Ain't none of us going to outsmart Satan. Ain't none of us going to beat Satan, bro. Only God can do that. Only being around a community of Christ honoring, Christ fearing, God fearing brothers is gonna do it. And I'm not saying to just be friends with any and anyone, bro. Don't get me wrong here. Your friends can also bring out either the boy or the king in you. There's been so many times I see this over and over throughout my 32 years of being on this planet. I've seen it just time and time again of dudes I know who start hanging out with the wrong groups of people. And those people, eventually, down the road, maybe not at first, but eventually those people implement and they push their desires onto them. And eventually, they find themselves just chasing after all the wrong things in life. And I'm not saying to just toss away all your friends who aren't serving you. But what I am saying is there's just some friends you just have to kind of love from afar. And hey, you need to connect into the right tribe. And so with that said, we got a free community down below. It's called the Wake Up Community. Totally free. You can be part of it right now. Lock in with some brothers, some Christ-driven brothers. There's also some free courses that I have in there that I've made up that you can dive into right away. There's courses that you can unlock, all for free down below. So go ahead, check that out. And yeah, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace always.